Hello. In this series, we are going to explore what is generative AI, applications of generative AI use cases, what is natural language processing, what are applications of natural language processing. Let's see one by one different scenarios of this section. Here we can see artificial intelligence is main domain, under which we can see machine learning, which is branch of artificial intelligence that focus on the creation of intelligent machines that learn from the data. Then comes deep learning, which is a subset of ML based on artificial neural network, example CNN and RN. Then here comes this tool called generative AI, a type of ANN that generate data that is similar to data it was trained on, example GAN and LLM. You can find these documents in the description box and in my GitHub account as well. Let's see how these terms are correlated with each other, how they are working with this part. We know generative AI refers to branch of artificial intelligence capable of generating new data or content. It stands out because it creates novel output rather than just processing existing data. Example ChatGPT, DALL-E, prominent examples, and ChatGPT generates textual content and DALL-E produces images based on descriptions. Next come to description or the generative AI applications. Here are so many applications, those are using generative AI as a recent trend technologies. First one is education or healthcare, or if you talk about finance, if you talk about entertainment and media, virtual assistance, gaming, content creation, cybersecurity. There are so many other fields where we are using generative AI as recent trends technology. You know that basically we are going to generate text data, we are going to process text data here, and I'll introduce you how to deal with unstructured data set, because text is kind of unstructured data set. What kind of visual content is there, that is kind of input we can see. What kind of text generation we are going to produce, what kind of code generation we are going to produce here, what kind of audio generation we are going to produce here. These are all generative AI use cases. But before discussing directly hands-on practice, let's see what is natural language processing. Natural language processing is a field that binds with computer science and focuses on enabling computers to understand, interpret, and general human language. Originating in 1950s, NLP initially relied on rule-based system. Here you can see these systems used explicit language grammar rules to process text. For example, a rule might dictate the sentence beginning with can you, will you, or is it should be treated as questions. Helping a system recognize can you help me is kind of question here, and we need to process these kind of data set. You can see that this one is including capabilities such as text classification, named entity recognition, machine translation, and other applications as well. When we talk about text classification, which we will deal with throughout the project, and we are gonna give you a quick review of this hands-on practice in this series. This is determining whether an email is spam or not, which category or advertisement belongs to, or whether a comment has a positive or negative connotation. informative retrieval like web search, where keywords are entered into find relevant pages. When we talk about named entity recognition, we can say that this would be giant topic in upcoming session as well. It identifying name identities such as names of people or any selected entities like city or phone numbers within text only, which is unstructured data set. When we talk about machine translation, it converts a sentence from one language to another. For example, English to Chinese, French to Hindi, or Sanskrit to Urdu, and so on. Other NLP applications include part of speech tagging or syntactic analysis, which can essentially for more complex tasks like machine translation. Now, when we go beyond this part, we can see following are the applications of natural language processing. Here you can say that first one we can depict chatbot, which is most widely used in several domains. Email filtering, whether this particular email is threatening or having spam or any other marketing tool, social media, and so on. Language translation from one language to another language. If you want to get started now with sentiment analysis of any text data, you can go here. If you want to predict text, you can go back here. For any text summarization, you want to find summary of particular PDF or particular document. Smart assistants, this is kind of questionnaire, you are asking some domain related questionnaire. And AES, for example, we are finding some score, or you are walking through particular project and you want to find some score for this particular relevant value. Here are some keywords which we will be using in upcoming session. For example, corpus. It's a website that with travel guide blog post. So this entire pages will be called as corpus. It's a group of documents, you can see. When we talk about document, it's a blog post on the travel guide website. When we say what is sentence, so sentence in the blog post on the travel guide website. What is the token, which would be very frequently used in upcoming session? So general, not specifically. Tokens are all words, punctuations, and emojis or space in sentence, which we will be covering in Python code. Here is the hierarchy of these terms. When we talk about corpus, it's a set of documents, as I said. When we talk about documents, it's a set of sentence. When we talk about tokens, it's a set of tokens, which is collectively called sentence. This is natural language processing hierarchy. Now let's discuss some lowercase or some kind of text operation we are going to perform using Python. So this is the first step in working with text data, is simply converting it into lowercase. Before proceeding any generative AI or any llama method or any NLP library, any giant class in unstructured data, we are going to pre-process this data set. One of the pre-process step is called lower class. It helps maintain consistency in our data and our output. So we are going to exploratory analysis or machine learning. We want to ensure words are understood and counted as the same words. Your model might treat it as a word, capital letter, and so on. Let's take a look at how easy it is converted our data to lower case using Python's built-in lower function. First, I'm going to create a sentence. Here her cat's name is Luna. Can you see this is showing my output? This is my first output you can see on the screen. When I go back, this one is my sentence.lower, sentence which I define here, and this is predefined function lower, and I'm going to print this lower function. Now here you can see I'm going to run this cell. This is just converted entire cell. I'm going to name it, for example, I'm going to make it for example cat, and I'm going to change this cat. Now this CAT is in caps lock. I'm going to run this code. Can you see now cat is showing in a lowercase. Now let's say I'm having another case, another sentence which is set of list. Now I'm going to print this sentence which is showing all the sentences are encapsulated in a list. Now I'm going to, for example, I'm going to convert this remote in mixed format. Still it's showing the same format. Now I'm going to use this x.lower, which is single line code in Python, to convert my list of element into lowercase. Now I'm going to deploy this function where I'm going to perform this value, and this would be the final output where I'm going to print all the elements in lowercase only. This is very tiny example of pre-processing of any unstructured data set. You can find these documents in the description box and in my GitHub account. Let's see in another video what kind of pre-processing we are going to perform. Thank you.